Spotty gotta do? What?
It's your boy JT, and we're back at it again with the Maroczy Unbound, and we're learning today about Black's counter strategies, and we're dealing with the F5 push. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, you should look at the previous videos that we have in this series. There will be a playlist link down below, and also if you want to join us live for the lesson, you can go to twitch.tv/JapaneseTutor. Link is also down below, and if you want to follow along with us, link is down below for the book, an amazing book. It's Pawn Structure Chess by Andrew Soltis. And while I read from the text, I'm also going to give you some insights of what I've played and some of the positions I've had and my experiences with a lot of these pawn structures, and I'm learning along with you guys. Okay, and for the Maroczy, you can just say bind. Everybody knows what it means, so don't worry about it. But Maroczy. All right, so Black's F5 strategies. So White can often stop or delay B5, but F5 is another matter. And actually, F5 is the break I play because I play the dragon, and sometimes I like to play the accelerated, or sometimes I like to play the hyper accelerated. So I play for this F5 plan. This is a very double-edged idea popularized by Vladimir Simagin. I'll put it down below, his name, somewhere. In the 1950s, Black's aim is to obtain play on the F file and use F5 as a minor piece outpost. An example from an English line, so we're going to go over a game that was actually played by Sadie Vershevsky. So C4, knight f6, knight C3, C5. Boom, knight f3, knight c6, g3, g6. It's pretty much symmetrical English so far. Bishop g2. And actually, there's a funny story that I tell a lot of my students, is that if you do not know how to play against the English, or you don't like to play against the English, just copy them until move 7. Except when they play d4. Castles, castles, d4. C captures d4. Knight captures d4, knight captures d4, queen captures d4. d6, queen d3, a6, bishop d2, bishop f5, e4, and b. So bishop e6. This is actually a small nuance saying, hey, your bishop will not have the scope that it should have because you have this pawn here. So you play bishop f5 first, hitting the queen. If the queen moves away, then we have a great bishop and we can just move our pawn, or we can protect our pawn in other ways. If they play e4, for like they are, they're blocking their bishop, and now we have the bishop on e6 where we wanted it to be anyways. So small little nuance. We also saw that in the last episode. b3, queen d7. And we've seen this battery before. So White's light squared bishop at g2 doesn't watch b5, but he can still slow the queenside push with a2, a4. So here White played a rook f to d1, which is actually quite a mistake. And Black switched gears completely with knight to g4, saying, okay, you don't want to play there, I will play f5. He played a4, stopping the advance of the queenside pawns, but too little too late, and sorry, wrong plan, Mr. f5. Black already has f-file threats because of knight captures f2, and here as a resource. White defended with rook f1, but after knight to e5, and this is an amazing knight, can only be kicked off here, and I don't know if they're going to be able to play here because they're also weak here. So queen to e3, f captures e4 first, bishop captures e4, bishop h3, saying, hey, this was your strong bishop, right? This was your strong bishop, but now it's not, because we're going to capture it, and thank you, now you have a lot of holes in your camp because of the fee and kettle structure. Remember, the fianchetto structure is only powerful when you have a bishop covering the squares or the holes. So he had to weaken his king position. So after everything, boom. Rook f3. Getting the rook in there. Queen e4, rook a to f8, piling pressure on the f2 pawn with a powerful build-up that won quickly. And remember, Reshevsky was an amazing player and an amazing talent. A lot of people have only seen his defeat when Bobby Fischer played against him. But Reshevsky, top guy, amazing guy. So rook to e1. And after rook to e1, now we even more pressure on the f2 pawn. And also a hitting e1 as well. With knight e3, sorry. Rook e2, and then knight to c5. Okay, after knight c5, they have queen c2 and then bishop d4, hitting that pawn one more time. All right, and now we're just building up and building up and building up. Knight d5, e6, get the knight out of there. Knight e3, trying to block some stuff. Queen c6, this allows some discoveries. We want no part of that. King g1, knight e4, his knight to g4, and I want you to find the winning move. If you're on YouTube, pause the video right now so you can find this spectacular move. If you're not on YouTube, try to find the move in the next 10 seconds. Psych, less than 10 seconds. The move here is knight captures g3, and it is game over. Knight captures c3, game over. Go to g2. Okay, so let's say if king g2. Then just knight captures e2, game over. This is coming. You have to keep checking me. If you play something that's not a check, let's say just a proxy move, then we just have mate in 1. The knight f6 interference, exactly. The knight f6, but we just take, and then you can have the queen g6 interference, right? And then the bishop f4 interference. But even that fails to this, right? So this is great and all, but f5 also creates problems of black's king safety and also pawn vulnerability. So we're going to go over another game here, and it's e4, c5, knight f3, knight c6, d4, c captures, g6, going to the accelerated dragon, and then we're going into the Maroczy bind with c4, bishop g7, bishop e3, knight to h6, knight c3, castles, bishop e2, d6, castles, f5. Now e captures f5 poses a choice. In the game, or in this example, he played here, but let's go over the other choices. So we have knight captures f5, right? If knight captures f5, knight captures f5, bishop captures f5. The most obvious replies, white has an edge with queen to d2, followed by f4 and bishop f3. White also gets a slight pull. So let's go back. White also gets a slight pull after here. Knight takes. Bishop takes d4, bishop takes d4. Queen takes d4, knight takes f5. Queen d2. because of the hole at e6 and the d5 g8 diagonal. Okay, and just for example, let's say some bishop d7 move.